the abandoned Apache woman, and the cowboy who risked everything to save her. Asterisk, the river ran slow that morning, its mist curling over the water like ghostly smoke. The sun had not yet burned through the chill when Ethan Cole rode down the embankment, his horse's hooves kicking up mud. He was chasing no man, no bounty, only silence. After years of gun smoke and war, the cowboy wanted peace. Asterisk, but peace has a way of hiding behind storms. Asterisk, that's when he saw her. A figure lying motionless near the water's edge, wrapped in tattered cloth, her braids soaked and heavy. For a heartbeat, Ethan thought she was gone. One more soul swallowed by the wild. But then he saw it, the faintest flutter of breath. Asterisk, hey there, you hear me? He whispered, kneeling beside her. Asterisk, she didn't answer. Her skin was cold, her hands bound by old rope, and strange markings painted across her shoulders, signs of an Apache ritual. One Ethan didn't understand, but deeply respected. Asterisk, he lifted her gently. She was light, too light, as if life itself had nearly slipped away. Asterisk, and in that quiet dawn, Ethan Cole, a man who'd buried every reason to care, found one reason to live again. Asterisk, when she woke, it was night, and she lay near a small fire in a narrow canyon. The stars stretched overhead, wild and endless. Ethan sat nearby, sharpening his knife on a stone, not for threat, but protection. Asterisk, don't be afraid, he said softly, you're safe now. Asterisk, her eyes fluttered open, dark, cautious, but fierce. Why? She whispered, her voice hoarse. Why save me? Asterisk, Ethan shrugged. Guess I just couldn't ride past someone the world gave up on. Asterisk, she turned away, silent for a long while. Finally, she said, my name is Ayana. My tribe left me when sickness took my legs. They said I was a burden. Her voice trembled, not with weakness, but with pride cut deep. Ethan stared into the flames. Then they made a mistake, he said. Ain't no life a burden worth throwing away. Asterisk, Ayana's eyes met his. Something passed between them, not trust yet, but the fragile start of it. Asterisk, days turned into weeks. Ethan built her a shelter in the canyon, fashioned crutches from mesquite wood, and hunted rabbits by moonlight. She taught him the old songs of her people, songs of earth and wind and fire. Asterisk, but the frontier was never kind for long. Asterisk, one afternoon, as the sky darkened with thunder, Ethan spotted dust clouds in the distance. Riders, fast and armed. Bandits, maybe bounty men. Trouble. Asterisk, Ayana sensed it too. They come for you, she asked. Asterisk, maybe, or maybe they come for what they think I got, he said, loading his rifle. Asterisk, he helped her to the shelter, his voice calm but firm. Stay low, don't make a sound. Asterisk, as the riders approached, rain began to fall, hard, cold, relentless. Thunder cracked, and the first gunshot echoed through the canyon. Asterisk, Ethan fired back, steady as stone. The fight was fast, brutal, but when the smoke cleared, the bandits were gone, and so was Ethan's peace. His shoulder bled, but his resolve burned hotter than ever. Asterisk, Ayana crawled to his side. You risked your life again. For me, she whispered. Asterisk, he smiled through the pain. Ain't no life worth saving if it means letting another be lost. Asterisk, by spring, Ayana could walk short distances with her crutches, each step a small victory against fate. Ethan built her a small canoe, not for escape, but for freedom. Every morning, she floated down the quiet river, learning to steer, to balance, to live again. Asterisk, one morning, she said, you gave me back what my tribe took, my spirit. Asterisk, Ethan looked at her, eyes soft beneath the brim of his hat. You gave me back mine too. They shared a quiet laugh, the kind that heals deeper than words. But in the West, every piece has a price. Word spread of a cowboy and an Apache woman living together, and soon, men from both sides began whispering. To some, it was betrayal. To others, a miracle. To Ethan and Ayana, it was simply survive. Asterisk, one dusk, riders appeared on the ridge, Ayana's old tribe. Their faces were hard, their eyes colder than stone. The chief dismounted, staring at her. Asterisk, you were left to the spirits, he said. Why do you still walk among the living? Asterisk, Ayana raised her chin. Because I chose to. Because this man did not see a ghost, he saw a warrior. Asterisk, the chief's gaze softened slightly. And now, asterisk, now, she said firmly, I walk my own path. Asterisk, for a long moment, the canyon held its breath. Then the chief nodded slowly. Then walk it. The spirits have chosen. Asterisk, as they rode away. Ethan let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Ayana smiled, not at the tribe, not at the sky, but at the man who refused to let her drown. Asterisk, months passed. The river no longer whispered of death but of life. Flowers grew along its banks, and Ayana's laughter echoed through the canyon. She and Ethan worked side by side, mending fences, tending to a small patch of land they called their own. Asterisk, sometimes, strangers passed through. Hearing tales of the cowboy who saved the river woman, Ethan never corrected them. Legends didn't need truth, just heart. Asterisk, one evening, as the sun bled gold over the horizon, Ayana said, you found me in the water. Now, I find peace beside you. Asterisk, Ethan smiled. Guess the river didn't take you after all. Asterisk, she looked at him with quiet strength. No, it carried me to where I was meant to be. Asterisk, and as the stars rose over the west, the cowboy and the Apache woman sat in silence, not broken souls anymore, but survivors, bound not by fate, but by choice. Asterisk, the frontier was filled with stories of loss, of vengeance, of survival, but few spoke of redemption. Ethan Cole and Ayana's story reminds us that sometimes the ones the world leaves behind are the ones who rise the highest. Asterisk, if you believe courage can be found in the unlikeliest of hearts, then hit subscribe, like, and share this story with someone who needs hope today. The wind whispered through the canyon like a ghost retelling an old prayer. Asterisk, night had fallen heavy across the land, painting the desert in shadows and silver light. The stars above flickered like eyes, watching from the heavens. A small fire cracked near the canyon wall, its smoke curling upward, carrying the scent of pine and rain. Asterisk, Ethan Cole sat near the flames, his rifle laid across his knees, the light glinting off the edge of his worn buckle. Across from him, wrapped in his coat, lay the woman he'd pulled from the river, still pale, still weak, her long black hair fanned across the sand like spilled ink. Asterisk, he didn't know her name yet, only that she was Apache, and that she'd nearly been lost to the river's mercy. Asterisk, he had seen death before, men shot for gold, boys lost to fever, women buried under the same earth they tried to tame. But something about her survival felt different. It wasn't luck, it was will. Asterisk, and maybe, he thought, a man who's done enough wrong needs a reason to believe in miracles again. Asterisk, the woman stirred, a faint sound leaving her lips, not a word, but a breath caught between fear and exhaustion. Her eyelids fluttered, and for the first time, her gaze met his. Her eyes were dark, sharp, alive eyes that had seen betrayal but refused to break. Asterisk, where am I? She whispered, her voice hoarse like dry wind through grass. Asterisk, safe. Ethan said quietly, you're safe now, found you by the riverbank. Asterisk, her brow furrowed. She tried to sit up but winced in pain. Her arms trembled, and Ethan leaned forward, steadying her shoulder gently. Easy, he said. You're hurt. Asterisk, why? Her voice cracked. Why did you help me? Asterisk, Ethan hesitated, staring into the fire. The flames painted his face in shifting golden shadow. Guess I just couldn't ride past someone the world forgot. Asterisk, she looked away, tears welling in her eyes. My tribe, they left me, she said after a long silence. The sickness took my legs once. I could not ride, could not hunt. To them, I was already gone. Her words hung in the night air like smoke, bitter, fading, yet unforgettable. Ethan didn't speak for a while. He just listened to her voice, to the crackle of fire, to the river whispering somewhere in the distance. Then he said, ain't no person a burden, not if they're still breath. I've seen men worth less than a shadow live just fine. You're different. Asterisk, the woman looked at him, trying to read his face. She saw no mockery, no pity, only truth. A rough, weathered truth that came from pain of its own kind. Asterisk, what do they call you? She asked softly. Asterisk, Ethan, he replied. Ethan Cole, used to be a ranch hand, then a soldier, then a fool. Asterisk, she managed a faint, almost invisible smile. And now, asterisk, he chuckled, feeding a stick into the flames. Now, just a man trying to mind his own peace and maybe save a stranger or two along the way. Asterisk, silence returned, the kind that didn't ache, but healed. The canyon air was cold, but the fire's glow made it bearable. Somewhere, in the dark, a coyote cried, and the sound echoed like a lonely hymn. Asterisk, after a while, the woman spoke again. My name is Ayana, she said quietly, as if speaking it might summon her spirit back into her body. It means eternal blossom. My grandmother gave it to me when I was a child. Asterisk, Ayana, Ethan repeated, the name unfamiliar, but soft on his tongue. That's a good name. Asterisk, he handed her a cup of warm broth from the pot hanging over the flames. She drank slowly, the color returning to her cheeks. When she was done, she lay back, her eyes fixed on the stars above. Asterisk, they say the stars are the eyes of those who came before, she murmured. Maybe they still watch us, even when we fall. Asterisk, Ethan nodded. Then maybe one of them told me to find you. Asterisk, she looked at him, the faintest curve of a smile returning to her lips. You talk like a man who's lost someone. Asterisk, I have, he said simply. Too many someones. Asterisk, the fire popped, sending sparks up into the night like tiny fireflies trying to reach heaven. For the first time in a long while, neither of them felt alone. Asterisk, when the wind picked up again, Ethan pulled his coat tighter around her shoulders. Get some rest, Ayana, he said gently. Tomorrow, we'll get you stronger. The land's rough, but you'll walk it again, one way or another. Asterisk, she looked at him, really looked at him, and saw something she hadn't seen in anyone for years. Hope without conditions. Asterisk, thank you, Ethan Cole, she whispered. Asterisk, he tipped his hat slightly. Don't thank me yet. The West ain't through testin' either of us. Asterisk, Ayana closed her eyes. The river whispered softly in the distance, its voice no longer one of death, but of renewal. The fire burned low, wrapping the canyon in a golden glow, and under the watching stars, two souls broken in different ways, began the slow, quiet work of mending each other.